There is something deeply unsettling about a man who doesn't speak much. In a world intoxicated by noise, attention, and the desperate need to be seen, silence becomes an act of defiance. And not just defiance, but power. Lao Tzu, the ancient Chinese philosopher and mystic, taught that the wisest man is not the one who says the most, but the one who sees the most. In the Tao Te Ching, he writes, "Those who know do not speak. Those who speak do not know." This isn't about withdrawal. It's about alignment. The quiet man doesn't flee from the world. He simply refuses to play its petty games. He doesn't rush to interrupt, to dominate, or to convince. Because he knows. What is true doesn't need to shout. His silence isn't absence. It's presence at its purest. A signal that he is listening, absorbing, and choosing not to waste energy where others bleed it recklessly. This is what makes him powerful. In a world enslaved by noise, the one who masters silence becomes ungovernable. The quiet man is not passive. He is calculated. He does not speak to be heard. He speaks to be understood. And when he chooses silence, it is not from weakness, but from an intimate understanding of timing. This is what Lao Tzu meant when he spoke of acting in harmony with the Tao. The Tao, the natural order of things, does not force or rush. It moves with grace, patience, inevitability. The quiet man mirrors that force. He sees what others don't because he waits. He lets people reveal themselves. He watches not to judge, but to understand. And in doing so, he places himself in a position few ever reach, the space between reaction and wisdom. While others react, he reflects. While others perform, he prepares. And when the moment comes, when he finally does act or speak, the world listens. Because his silence before that moment gave his words weight, the kind of weight that cannot be faked. There's a reason people are uneasy around silence. It forces introspection. It mirrors back the noise inside. The quiet man becomes a mirror, and people project their fears, their insecurities, their unreadable assumptions onto him. His calmness can be mistaken for arrogance, his distance for judgment. But the truth is, he simply doesn't need to explain himself. Lao Tzu taught that the sage doesn't compete because he understands the futility of trying to win in a world that is lost in its own illusions. And so, the quiet man walks through chaos untouched. His silence is misunderstood because most people don't know how to sit with their own. But this misunderstanding is his camouflage. It protects him. It allows him to move through life without being trapped by ego, by the endless chase for validation. His silence isn't a lack. It's a shield. In a time where everyone is broadcasting, branding, selling a version of themselves, the quiet man becomes a ghost. But not a ghost of weakness. A ghost of precision. He knows that what is rare is valuable, and what is valuable is preserved. His presence unsettles precisely because it cannot be controlled. He doesn't respond to provocation, doesn't react to noise, doesn't need applause. And that is terrifying, because you cannot manipulate a man who is at peace with silence. Lao Tzu's wisdom reminds us, water is soft, but it carves through rock. The quiet man, like water, wears down resistance not by force, but by presence. He isn't in a hurry, because he understands the game better than those who play it loud. And in the end, he wins. Not because he overpowers, but because while everyone else was performing, he was becoming. Watching. Waiting. Ready. Arthur Schopenhauer, the philosopher who found brilliance in solitude, understood something few ever do. Genius thrives in silence. The chaos of the world, with its endless chatter and distractions, is the breeding ground of mediocrity. Schopenhauer saw society as a constant parade of empty words. a place where thoughts are shallow and opinions are loud but hollow. The more people speak, the less they listen, and in that, they lose touch with the truth of existence. For Schopenhauer, the quiet guy is not simply avoiding others. He's engaging with something far deeper. He has withdrawn from the noise not to escape, but to sharpen his mind. In the silence, he hears things that are lost in the clamor, and it is in that silence that his sharpness emerges. The quiet man, in Schopenhauer's view, understands the value of solitude. He is not isolated because he is afraid of others. He is isolated because he understands that profound thought requires distance from the distractions of daily life. To think deeply is to detach, to step outside the constant demands for attention, approval, and validation. The quiet man is the one who chooses to spend his time in thought, not in chatter. He may speak little, but when he does, his words are precise, calculated, and meaningful. And it is this silence, this choice of isolation, that grants him a deeper understanding of the world. Where others are content with superficial opinions, the quiet man digs deeper. He searches for truths hidden beneath layers of illusion. And in his isolation, he becomes not only more intelligent, but more connected to the core of reality. In a world obsessed with participation, with constant engagement, the quiet man is a threat because he refuses to be a part of the mindless buzz. He is content to be alone, because in his solitude, he has found something far more valuable than the noise of social validation: clarity. He knows that to think clearly, to reach new depths of understanding, one must retreat from the collective noise. Most people, Schopenhauer argued, never achieve greatness because they are too busy talking, too busy being swept along by the tide of public opinion. The quiet man, on the other hand, avoids the current. He steps back and observes, unimpeded by the rush to fit in or to conform. And in doing so, he sees things that others miss. He isn't lost in the drama of the moment. He's seeing the patterns that lie underneath. Schopenhauer's philosophy also touches on the human tendency to fill the void with distraction. But for the quiet man, there is no void. There is only space for thought. The ability to be comfortable with one's own thoughts, to sit in silence without needing to fill it, is not a sign of weakness, but of power. This power is not external. It is internal. It is the power of insight, of clarity, of understanding that the most valuable truths are not screamed from the rooftops, but whispered in the quiet spaces of the mind. And so, the quiet man becomes not just a figure of intellectual force, but a master of his own world. He does not need the validation of others. He does not need to prove his worth. He understands that the sharpest minds are not the loudest, but the ones that listen most intently. In a society full of noise, the quiet man stands as a reminder. Wisdom is born in silence, and power follows it. Carl Jung believed that every human carries within them a shadow, the repressed, denied parts of the self, often filled with uncomfortable truths and unresolved conflicts. In a society obsessed with self-presentation, where everyone strives to appear flawless and virtuous, the quiet man stands apart, not because he is better, but because he has faced what lies hidden. He knows his own darkness, his own flaws, his own monsters, and because he has confronted them, they no longer control him. His silence is not a mask. It is a testament to his inner integration. Jung's concept of shadow integration is crucial here. The quiet man has done the difficult work of self-awareness. He has descended into the depths of his psyche and has emerged not unscathed, but transformed. Most people never face their own shadow. They suppress it, hide from it, or project it onto others. They react from a place of unconscious fear, anger, or inadequacy, trying to overcompensate for the parts of themselves they cannot accept. But the quiet man doesn't need to react. He has already faced the uncomfortable truths about himself, and in doing so, has gained a profound sense of control over his emotional world. He does not need to shout to assert his presence, because his inner self is at peace. His silence is the result of this peace. This brings us to the unique power of the quiet man. He is not motivated by the same unconscious drives that push others. While others speak out of insecurity, seeking to fill the gaps in their self-image, the quiet man speaks only when he is certain that his words will serve a purpose. His silence is not born of fear, but of wisdom. Jung argued that true power comes from self-knowledge, from the ability to integrate one's light and shadow, and the quiet man embodies this principle. He does not hide his darkness. He owns it. And this ownership gives him a unique strength. He is neither overly harsh nor overly gentle. He is a balance between the two, a force that is difficult to predict, difficult to categorize. The quiet man, by integrating his shadow, becomes someone who is authentic in a way that few people ever achieve. He has no need to project an image of perfection or righteousness. He simply is. And because he is whole, he is unshakable. There is no pretense in his silence, no underlying anxiety or fear of judgment. His quietness stems from a place of profound self-understanding. He has looked into the depths of his soul, confronted what lurks there, and emerged more powerful because of it. This makes him unpredictable, because he does not react from the same place of unconscious motivation that drives others. His strength is in his composure, his ability to remain calm in the face of turmoil. And in a world where most people react impulsively, the quiet man stands as a beacon of control. Jung's idea that we must embrace both our light and our shadow to live fully applies here. The quiet man's silence is the outward manifestation of this integration. He doesn't need to prove himself, because he has already become himself. This makes him dangerous not because of his ability to strike, but because of his ability to endure. He has nothing to prove, and in that, he finds his power. The quiet man is at peace with who he is, and in that peace, there is strength beyond measure. Miyamoto Musashi, the legendary swordsman, understood the power of invisibility long before it became a modern-day strategy. In his book, The Book of Five Rings, Musashi lays out the principles of martial strategy, discipline, and the importance of clear-minded action. But one of his most profound teachings is about the warrior who remains unnoticed. The silent warrior, the one who does not draw attention to himself, becomes a force that can strike with devastating precision when the moment is right. Musashi's greatest strength was his ability to remain calm, to observe his opponent's every move, and to never reveal his full potential until it was absolutely necessary. The quiet man in this context is not just a passive observer. He is a strategic mastermind, using silence to his advantage. Musashi teaches that in war, visibility can be a trap. The more you reveal, the more you become vulnerable. The warrior who speaks too much, who boasts of his skills or intentions, loses the element of surprise. The quiet man, like Musashi, understands this. Silence is a form of camouflage. He does not announce his plans, his goals, or his intentions. He moves through life with purpose, but with a stillness that prevents others from seeing his true capabilities. In a world that demands constant performance and validation, the quiet man thrives by choosing not to participate in the show. He knows that his power lies in what others cannot see, and he uses this to his advantage. His silence is his stealth. His invisibility is his strength. This ability to remain unseen gives the quiet man an almost supernatural advantage. He lets others reveal their weaknesses, their excesses, their errors. While they expend energy trying to impress, compete, or dominate, he bides his time. Musashi's strategy was never to enter unnecessary battles. The quiet man mirrors this approach. He does not waste time on conflicts that do not serve him. Instead, he waits, watches, and when the time comes, he strikes decisively. His silence is not a lack of action. It is a preparation for a more significant move. The quiet man does not waste his words, and he does not waste his energy. He understands that true power lies not in loud declarations, but in the quiet buildup of mastery and focus. In life, as in war, the most dangerous adversaries are not those who make the most noise, but those who understand the art of silence. Musashi's teachings about not revealing your thoughts, not showing your emotions, and not engaging in unnecessary displays of strength are more relevant than ever. The quiet man embodies this principle. He does not engage in petty drama or futile competitions. He understands that the most powerful actions are often the ones that go unnoticed until the moment they are needed. His silence is the calm before the storm, the stillness that precedes a powerful, calculated strike. And when he does move, it is with such precision and force that his adversaries are left reeling, unsure of what just happened. They never saw him coming because he was already inside their minds, studying them, waiting for the right moment to act. Ultimately, Musashi's wisdom teaches us that the true master of silence is not afraid of the world around him. He does not fear being overlooked, because he knows that invisibility is not weakness. It is the ultimate strength. The quiet man understands that his power lies not in showing what he can do, but in knowing when and where to act. His silence is a weapon, his invisibility a shield. And in the end, it is this quiet strategy that makes him the most dangerous opponent of all. Epictetus, the Stoic philosopher, taught that the ultimate form of power lies in the mastery of oneself. To govern one's own emotions, to remain unshaken in the face of external chaos, is the highest achievement a person can attain. The quiet man, in this context, is not just someone who chooses silence for the sake of it. He chooses it because he has learned the art of self-sufficiency. His silence is not born of insecurity or retreat, but of inner strength. He is unbothered by the noise of the world because he knows that his true power lies within. In a world where everyone is quick to react, the quiet man is unreactive. And in that stillness, he holds a strength that is more formidable than any outward display of force. The quiet man who follows the Stoic teachings of Epictetus understands that peace of mind is not something to be earned from external validation or approval. It is something that comes from within. He is not reliant on the praise or criticism of others. He does not need the accolades of the world to feel valued. His worth is determined by his ability to control his own mind and emotions, not by the opinions of others. In a world full of distractions and empty pursuits, the quiet man walks his own path, unwavering in his conviction that his true power comes from his ability to remain calm and composed. Epictetus taught that our happiness does not come from external circumstances, but from our own ability to respond to them. The quiet man has mastered this principle. He is not concerned with the chaos that surrounds him, because he understands that his inner world is the only one he can control. He may appear distant, but in reality, he is deeply connected to his own sense of purpose. His silence is a reflection of his inner clarity. He does not waste energy reacting to every little disturbance. He chooses his responses, and because of that, he maintains a sense of control that others envy. The quiet man does not get caught up in the noise of social drama or the frenzy of modern life. He is the calm in the storm, the unshakable anchor in a sea of chaos. The strength of the quiet man, in the Stoic sense, lies in his ability to act with purpose and intention, without being distracted by external forces. He knows that true power is found not in forcing things to go his way, but in accepting what comes and responding with grace. His silence is not a passive withdrawal from the world, but an active choice to remain centered, no matter what life throws at him. In a world where most people are reactive, impulsive, and emotional, the quiet man remains serene. He does not allow the world to dictate his state of mind. Instead, he creates his own peace, and that peace is his most powerful weapon. In a time when everyone is trying to prove themselves, the quiet man understands that there is no need to shout to be heard. His silence is not empty. It is full of purpose, full of strength. The true power of the quiet man is not in what he says or does, but in his ability to remain steadfast, unmovable, and unperturbed. He has mastered the art of self-sufficiency, and in that mastery, he becomes a force to be reckoned with. His silence is his shield, his serenity his sword. And in a world that is loud, chaotic, and ever-changing, this is the quiet man's greatest weapon.